Wonderful. Good morning and welcome. I am Betty Ivory, Supervisor of Civil Service Records and host for today's Civil Service Commission meeting. Daryl Eatman, Civil Service Examiner 3, is our co-host. Because we have a few new faces to our meeting, I just want to provide you a few pieces of housekeeping. If you become disconnected at any time during a meeting, just go back to your original invitation and click on Join the Meeting again. Do your best to avoid noises. All guests, keep yourself on mute until you are called upon. Everybody is here virtually, electronically, so you should be okay. Also note that the host and the co-host maintains the ability to mute all attendees. And also be comfortable with knowing that once the Civil Service Commission has addressed your agenda item, you are not obligated to stay for the remainder of the meeting. So with that, I do see that we have a quorum of our commission members. At this time, I give our meeting to our Civil Service Commission President, Pastor Gregory Jordan.
Thank you, Betty. Good morning, everyone. We're going to do our roll call. I'm telling you in advance, if I make a mistake on your name, please just speak up and give it correctly so it can be a part of our record. Commission members, Michael Flickinger.
Present.
India Pierce Lee.
Present.
Daniel J. Brennan.
Present.
Cyrus L. Patton.
Present.
And Gregory E. Jordan, present. Counsel is Ashley Hawkins, Assistant Director of Law. Office of the Civil Service Commission Staff, Mary Bradley, Executive Director.
Present.
Lila Abrams Fitzpatrick, Administrative Manager.
Absent.
Daryl Eatman, Examiner 3.
Present.
Betty Ivory, Supervisor of Civil Service Records.
Present.
Court Reporter Fincham Mancini, Court Records. Court Reporter, rather. Sorry.
Present. That's okay.
Agenda guest, William McDonald and his representation.
Williams present.
Tiffany Fishback, Assistant Director of Law Department, Assistant Director of Law Department.
Actually, I'm substituting for her. I'm Mark Weber, Co-Chief Assistant Director of Law for Labor and Employment.
Thank you, Mr. Weber. Ramona Lowry, Commissioner Director, Division of Water Pollution Control.
Present.
I'm going to take a shot at this name, Hamzi Shahadi, Supervisor of Hardware Evaluations Law Department.
Yes, the Law Department is seeking a 60-day enlargement of time of his probationary period. He's not here. He has agreed to this request.
Okay, thank you. Gerald Ship, Sergeant, Department of Public Safety Police Personnel Unit.
Present.
William Mashevsky, Sergeant, Department of Public Safety Police Personnel Unit.
Sergeant Moshevsky is off today. I'm filling in. I am Lieutenant Ryan, OIC of the personnel section.
Thank you, Lieutenant Ryan. Item 2, accepting of today's agenda.
Motion to approve Flickinger.
Secondly,
It's been moved and seconded to approve. All in favor?
Lee, aye.
Flickinger, aye.
Brennan, aye.
Patton, aye.
Jordan, aye. That motion was approved. Item 3, approval of the minutes from the February 24th, 2023 Commission meeting.
Motion to approve Flickinger.
Secondly,
It's been moved and seconded to approve. All in favor?
Lee, aye.
Flickinger, aye.
Brennan, aye.
Patton, aye.
Jordan, aye. That motion was approved. Item 4, approval of the routine matters.
Motion to approve Flickinger.
Second, Patton.
It's been moved and seconded to approve. All in favor?
Lee, aye.
Flickinger, aye.
Brennan, aye.
Patton, aye.
Jordan, aye. That motion was approved. Item 5, consideration of the request from the Division of Water Pollution Control to amend the minimum qualifications for the classification of Deputy Commissioner of Water Pollution Control.
Ms. Lowry? If
I'm
you would like
assuming
to,
you. Oh,
yeah, I
go
was about to
ahead.
say, if you would like to um, read your memo.
You guys have a copy of the memo? I'll read it. I was assuming everybody had a copy of the memo. It's merely a request, the red font on there, to add the language that's in all of our other public utility deputy commissioner positions. To add the language just saying substitution of 2 years experience may substitute for each year of college education lacking. The language just currently reads that the minimum requirements is a high school diploma or GED is required, a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, mechanical engineering, business, public administration, or related field from an accredited 4-year college or university is required. 5 years of full-time paid, progressive, responsible administrative experience in public utility is required, and supervisory experience. So my request was just to add back the language in there saying substitution, 2 years of experience may substitute for each year of college education lacking.
Motion to approve, Brennan.
Second, Flickinger.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the motion. All in favor?
Lee, aye.
Flickinger, aye.
Brennan, aye.
Patton, aye.
Jordan, aye. The motion was approved.
Thank you.
Consideration of the request from the Department of Law to extend the probationary period of Amzid Shadid.
Pastor,
Yes.
inasmuch as that the employee does not object, motion to approve.
Thank you, sir.
That's correct. We request the law director has requested a 60-day enlargement, extension of the probationary period to May 12th. The employee has agreed and has no objection to that.
Thank you, Mr. Weber. We have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second, Lee.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the motion. All in favor?
Lee, aye.
Flickinger, aye.
Brennan, aye.
Patton, aye.
Jordan, aye. That motion was approved. Item 7, consideration of the request from William McConnell to be reinstated to the Division of Police, Department of Public Safety as a patrol officer.
Pastor,
Yes, sir.
confirming with the sergeant that there's no objection from the city, I move approval.
I was asking the sergeant, is there an objection?
Yes, there is, sir.
All right, I withdraw my motion.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Sergeant, you're here to speak on behalf of the city?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
William McConnell, former Cleveland police officer, he applied for reinstatement to our division. Background check was sought with both case prep office and internal affairs unit. The findings from case prep, there was no discipline history. IAU revealed there is no active pending arrest for this member. But the background information obtained from Columbus Police Department disclosed that Mr. McConnell engaged in substance use and trade. And based on the above supplemental documentation, reinstatement is not recommended.
Is Mr. McConnell here?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead, sir.
Or Lieutenant, what was the reason the Columbus said they said I used substances?
Yes. It says that you during your polygraph assessment, you said that you sold and traded Adderall. And let's see, Mr. McConnell, you stated you used tramadol in 2011, ecstasy in 2010, and cocaine in 2011. And per RPHS, you did not list usage of tramadol, And when you were questioned about the use of cocaine, you checked no for us.
Okay, well, that was way before I was an officer. I was, I was a young man then. I'm not like that anymore. I don't even drink. So, if I could just let the board members take into consideration, I served with the city for 6 years. I had never had any discipline. I left on good standing. I went to Columbus because I was comfortable in Cleveland and wanted to seek a new opportunity. I went to Columbus. I hated it. I wanted to come back home and serve the citizens of Cleveland. I left Columbus on good standing. And yeah, I'm just shocked at this.
Sergeant, I have a question.
Yes.
So I guess the objection is related to the fact that he failed to disclose, but the polygraph detected deception in Columbus, correct?
Yes.
In spite of that deception.
Yeah, the polygraph in Columbus did not detect deception.
No.
The polygraph revealed what Sergeant Ship said about the drug use. And then when we deconflicted that with our PHS, there was conflicting information.
Okay, so to clarify, to use simple terms for my simple mind, he admitted it to Columbus but did not admit it to CPD.
Yes.
All right. And the admission, however, did not prevent Columbus from hiring him.
No, it did not.
Okay. What was his record with Columbus during your background check? Was it a exemplary record, a questionable record? What was it?
It was a good record. It was a very good record.
And the record that he had at CPD, was that an exceptional record or a problem or a difficult record?
No, it was exceptional also.
All right. Why did you not disclose, Mr. McConnell, your drug use when you were asked about it on your documentation with CPD?
Sir, honestly, that was back in 2015, I believe. I got interviewed for Cleveland. So I have no reason to be dishonest. I don't know why there's conflicting information.
So 6 years later, you recollected it and honestly answered the question, but 6 years prior, which would have been closer to the incident, you forgot?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
I said 6 years after you initially neglected to report that to CPD, you did recall it. So how is it that 6 years before you forgot?
They gave me, during the polygraph process in Columbus, they gave me 3 pieces of paper with lists of like every drug, they're like, here, does any of this, have you done any of this, basically, during the polygraph process. And I kind of just, ones that stood out to me, I pointed to, whereas in Cleveland, it was a verbal interview. I never had basically options presented to me during the interview process.
Sergeant, are you able to recall what the question would have been to former Officer McConnell?
No, we also have a complete drug history page, and when he sits down for an interview, we go through the entire application packet, and it's question about all drugs there.
Okay.
There's not just a verbal interview. Our PHS also has a drug history page that has to be, where questions have to be answered also.
Mr. McConnell, how many years ago did your drug use end?
2012, 2011.
And have you used any drugs in the last 12 years?
No.
All right. No further questions, Pastor.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other questions from the commission? Thank you. Mr. McDonald, would you like to say anything else before we vote?
I just, I grew up in Cleveland. My grandmother lived in Cleveland. She passed away about 9 years ago. I just want to get back to the streets that I know and love, and I just want to continue my career in Cleveland.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a motion from the commission?
Is everyone comfortable voting or do we need to discuss?
Well, let's go into a executive session for a moment so we can discuss it. Discuss this.
And so everybody, as the commission is being moved into an executive session, will be here posted and waiting for them to come back so they can identify a vote, and it'll be quiet here.
Give me a moment. I will move everyone to the breakout session. Hold on.
Thank you. I am also ending the live stream.